Hello, fellow Star Trek fans. Welcome back to a brand new episode of The Dry Dock with me, your host, Mike Overton, and my dear friend, Mike number 2, aka Captain Goodwill. Mr. Goodwill, how are you doing, sir?
Michael and Michael, when the ships were delivered.
Exactly. Finally, eventually, when they got round to it. I think this is going to be a very interesting one because neither of us had smooth sailing this month.
No. But I feel it's going to be a very contrasting review.
Yes, because you absolutely hate this ship with a passion, and I actually quite like it. So
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
You hate it as much as I hate the Farragut.
All ships are beautiful, guys. Okay, ignore what Mike number 1 is saying. I love all ships in all shapes and sizes. Okay.
Is that a euphemism for something else now?
Dirty boy.
Anyway, so we're going to do things in our normal fashion. We're going to talk about the experience. We're going to talk about the magazine, and we're going to talk about the model. So, first things first, experience. Oh, what a fun! So look, this is issue number 6. I have had 5 months of no problems.
Yep.
And I got the email from I got the ping from PayPal to say, good news, we've given D'Agostini some money. And I went, fantastic. And then I sat there and I looked. And then eventually I got an email from Fanhome to say, good news, your order is shipped. I went, fantastic. And I looked at the tracking and nothing happened for a week and nothing happened for 10 days. And I thought, what the hell's going on here? Anyway, I left it. And then all of a sudden I got a text message to say, we're going to deliver your parcel tomorrow. I went, fantastic. I'm not at home tomorrow, so let me get this rearranged for Thursday. So that was on a Tuesday. It was going to be delivered on Wednesday, and I wanted it delivered on Thursday because I was back at home. I thought, right, perfect. Got an email through to say, good news, we've rescheduled your delivery. Got a text message to say, we've rescheduled your delivery. I went, fantastic. It will be here. Great. Thursday comes, and I checked the tracking at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and it says it's going to be delivered today. I thought, okay, great, fantastic. And midday comes, and still says it's going to be delivered today, and it hasn't been put on a van yet. And 3 o'clock comes, and still says it's going to be delivered today. 20 past 10 arrives at night, and it still says it's going to be delivered today. And I'm thinking, yeah, this ain't coming today, is it?
Yeah.
Something is awry here. So it comes Friday. Nothing. Saturday. Nothing. They don't work Sundays, fine. So Monday comes around, so I jump on support chat with Yodel, and I go, hello, Mr. Yodel person. What is going on with my parcel? I asked for it to be delivered on this date. You've sent me a confirmation to say you're going to deliver it on this date, and apparently it's still in Farnborough at the depot. Please, can you enlighten to me what is the situation? We've had an influx of parcels. We're running late, and you'll have to be patient. Blunt, and I thought, that's not very good customer service, Mr.
No, that is not.
But okay, fine, I'll accept that. And then I replied back saying, okay, whilst I accept that, what's the point in asking me to reschedule the date of my choosing if you're not going to honour the date that I've chosen? And then she just copied and pasted a previous reply to say, you will have to wait. And I was like, okay, fine, screw you. So I ended the chat. So I thought, okay, so that's Monday. Tuesday comes, Wednesday comes, Thursday comes, Friday comes. Still sitting at Farnborough, still sitting at a depot. We're going, what the fuck is going on here? So Monday comes round. So Sunday night. And I thought, right, I'm going to reschedule it for delivery for tomorrow. So I go back in and reschedule it for delivery for that Monday. Got a text message and an email to say, be delivered. I thought, fantastic. Lovely. Will arrive. 10 o'clock in the morning comes, 2 o'clock in the afternoon comes, 10 o'clock in the evening comes, still says it's going to be delivered today, never arrived. So Tuesday comes, and I get back onto Yodel support again, and going, hello, Yodel person, what is the latest with my parcel that has now spent 10 days at your fucking depot? We've had an influx of parcels, you're going to have to be patient. I said, no, I'm not going to be patient. This is disgusting. It's been sat at a depot for 10 days. You've told me this reply already once. I want my parcel. What is the point of me telling you a day I want it delivered if you're not going to bloody honour it? You'll have to be patient. I went, okay, screw you. Wednesday morning, good news. Your parcel has been loaded onto a van. Fantastic. It's going to arrive today. Brilliant. 10 o'clock comes, 12 o'clock comes, 10 o'clock at night comes. It's still on a van. Thursday, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And finally, I get a ping to say, your pass will arrive between 20 past 6 and 20 past 8 tonight. Okay. So I get the ping. Your driver is 5 stops away. I went, great, fantastic. So I open the curtain so I can keep an eye out so I can go and 20 minutes later, I get a ping. I hear this thud at my door. And I go, what the fuck was that? I open the door and this very nice Sikh gentleman in his turban was running away from my garden. Jumped into his dilapidated 1970s Transit and fucks off. Oh, look, it's a box that's upside down with Fanhome printed on the bottom of it on a sticker. Oh, look, it's finally the Shrike has arrived in all of her glory with a thud at my front door.
It's the portal gun.
I pick the box up and it all falls out. The box is like in bits. No magazine. The box itself is okay. There's a couple of dents in it, and that. I thought, right, I'm not having this. So I rewind the footage from my video doorbell, and I'm going to put the footage in the window so you can see it. Don't worry. And you literally see this man walk up and go yeet at my front door from 10 meters away, and he just yeets it at my front door and just fucks off. Takes a photo of it lying outside my front door. So I'll see if I can get the whole footage. And I literally shout saying, "Thank you. A knock would be nice." And he just
so British.
Okay, fine. So I jumped onto Twitter and I tagged Yodel and Fanhome in going, how the hell is this acceptable? And then I got bombarded with a bunch of spam. I'm Yodel support. Like, fuck are you, Yodel support? Go away. And Yodel have yet to reply back to me on that one. So I do a support chat with Fanhome that following their chats offline. So I sent them an email. I said, guys, my magazine wasn't in the box. Can you please send me a magazine? Need it for the review, blah, 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 blah. That was Thursday. Friday, nothing. Saturday, nothing. So Monday, I jump on a support chat and go, guys, what's going on? Oh, we're really sorry. We've had an influx of support behind. I went, okay, great. What's the latest with this? She goes, oh, we'll have to escalate it to a different team. I just want a magazine, please. So this was last week. And then Monday, I had finally got an email back to say, no, if you want a magazine, you have to send the whole thing back and we'll resend you an entire package. And I'm thinking to myself, so I have to spend £5 of my own money, which you said you'll give me credit for on my next one, to send it to somewhere in Portsmouth for you to send me another one out with a magazine in the box.
Yeah.
It's not very environmentally friendly, that Fanhome, is it? Really? I've told you, you asked for photos. I gave you photos of the box in bits on my living room floor. I even sent you the lovely video of the nice man yeeting it at my front door, where you can see he's holding it from the top because the side of the box has come off. I went, I just want a bloody magazine. So luckily, a friend of mine who lives just up the road, I have borrowed theirs for the purpose of this review. And I have decided to forego the magazine because I really can't be asked to box this up, send it back. But Fanhome have given me a 15% discount for the inconvenience. I was like, okay, that's great. Thank you. It's not what I want. I'm happy to pay full price. I just want the 75p magazine that you could quite easily stick in an envelope and stick in the postbox.
You could quite literally get the printers to print one off, post it for cheaper
than it would cost for me to spend the £5 to ship it back, for you to spend another £6 to ship it back, another one back out again. It's like, I understand probably why. They've probably had a lot of people trying their luck, which I can kind of get. But at the same time, it's just like, that's a really stupid scenario. I'm sorry. In fact, it took a week for them to come back to me and say, oh, you're going to have to send it back. And it's just like, right, okay, but why?
I think they are learning too much from the Eagle Moss days, where people were trying it on, and Eagle Moss we were just like, have a new ship, have a new magazine, have a new, and it's like, that's okay.
I can understand if I turn around and said, guess what, it's missing 2 of its wings. Do you know what? I would actually say that makes perfect sense. I can completely understand sending that back. That I completely understand. The fact the magazine's missing out of the box. But this also goes back to the case. They're not putting the magazines in these.
They're
they are
not.
just
So
separate.
they're two separate. Yeah. So
And
they are two separate stocks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought, why can't you just stick one in an envelope?
It really does not make sense. So,
how was your experience, Goodwill? Was it better than mine?
Yes.
It was
in certain ways, yes. The only issue I had was very similar to Mike number one, was the delay in it being shipped out.
Yeah,
so
why was it so? Yours wasn't even. Yours was like shipped the day after I received mine.
So it was taken. The money was taken, I think, just after yours was taken.
Right.
Because normally, me and Mike, we get a message and we say, "Yep, it's
normally
been
a few
taken."
Hours apart, isn't it?
Normally a few hours apart. And you would message me and say, Shrike's on its way. They've taken the money. And mine was, I think, a day or half a day or a day or two later.
Yeah.
And they took it. And I'm like, okay. Again, I'm in no rush. I have,
Yep.
I am very comfortable with waiting. I'm not sat outside as soon as I get the ping from Barclays waiting with bated breath. I'm grown now.
Complete side note for a second. I've just logged in because I wanted to see what the date was that they took mine. 14th of April. They have now updated the portal with a picture of the Titan.
We'll get to that.
It had a grey mysteriousness, but yes, sorry.
We'll get to that specific version, that specific model later on. But I get the ping because it was at a time that I was doing some work, so I was like, I'm not going to be in the house, so I'm good. I can wait a few days. That's fine. But we get the ping at more or less the same time, and there's that inexplicable delay. And I'm talking now, I've received my Shrike. I received it yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, and they took the payment on the 7th of April.
So our payments were taken
2 weeks. So 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Our payments were taken 6 weeks ago, and my version has just arrived. Now, again, it could be that there was a delay in receiving the stock. It could be a whole raft of things. It could be, a certain orange man doing tariffs and it's causing logistical nightmares, yada, 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 yada. Right? No complaint on that side. It's a delay. It's expected every now and then. That's fine. My experience with the delivery was... So we get the message, congratulations, good news, your Shrike is on its way. And you're like, yay, that means within the week they're going to tell me that it's going to be within the van, it's going to be outside my house in 4 minutes. Because that seems to be the general trend where you wait and wait and wait, and then they go, you better be in.
Yeah, because it's coming now.
Because we are literally 3 meters away. But luckily this one, they'd sent me it a day in advance. So they went, good news, it's going to be delivered on this date, just to let you know. And I thought, okay, that's a surprise, because again, I'm expecting, you better be in, otherwise it's going to number 2 or it's going to the other side of the country. So a day before, I get the email and I get the text message and I'm like, oh, this is actually really good. Oh, well, actually, I'm not going to be in and Mrs. Captain Goodwill's not going to be in. Oh, I can just intercept it. Now, my neighbour's away, so I can't leave with the neighbour. So what I thought, well, learning from the experiences of Mike number 1, what I am going to do, I am going to leave a very detailed message with the courier. So I left a little message and I went, if I am not in, because I didn't know the times that when they do it, I said, if I am not in, please could you go down my driveway? And you will see a lovely set of wheelie bins. Please, can you just over the gate so it bounces off the lid of the wheelie bin and it rests on the plastic? Well, as we saw with, I believe, what other ship was it? Where they just yeeted it? The Enterprise F.
Was it the F or was it the Farragut that they yeeted?
No, it was. It was the Farragut. So
Farragut.
The experience with the Farragut was, are you in? We don't care. Even if you are in upstairs car parked, we're just going to yeet that like we're, the New England Patriots. And I'm like, literally, I mean, I think I covered this, but it was literally go downstairs, already in the back garden. I'm like, you must have sprinted round.
You didn't open your door in 30 milliseconds, so I fucked off.
You must have serious social anxiety to not want to interact with anyone if you do it that quickly. So with this one, I was like, I clear instructions, go down the driveway, you'll see the 3 wheelie bins, tiptoe, put it over, and it'll just bounce on the bin. Fine, good. I joked to myself because I went, they're not going to do that. They're just going to go.
Yep.
To my surprise, I get the text message yesterday morning and an email yesterday morning. Good news! Your parcel is going to be with you between 9:52 and 10:17. And I'm like,
very specific.
Crikey, that's a 30-minute window, and I had the map and everything like that. And then I get another message a half an hour later. Good news! It has been delivered. There's the photo of the box on the wheelie bin, as instructed. And when I got home, you could tell they didn't throw it or anything. You could tell that they gently and then just gently dropped it because it was still upright. I mean, this is a weighty model as far as I'm concerned. The box is quite weighty, but the way they did it, they just didn't throw it over. So this month, huge props to it's either a new Yodel delivery driver or they have had a very stern talking to. They followed the instructions to the T, put it there, and I thought, it's a dry day, it's a hot day, nothing's going to get wet, nothing's going to get damaged. And the box was in perfect. I mean, that box is probably brand new. I think the sellotape is still like the internal box is absolutely fine. The model is in pristine condition, and more crucially, to rub salt into the wound, I have a pristine magazine. However,
before we go diving into the magazine,
I'm not going to dive into the magazine. However, within the box, as Mike has eloquently put, the magazine is outside the box. In mine, I thought, ooh, it's free gift time because they've been saying you're going to get free gifts with your latest deliveries.
Because you're still waiting for your Elcars and mug, aren't you? Oh, dear.
Hi, customer.
Wow, they couldn't even mail merge your name into it.
Literal order number and user number, customer code on the letter, but hi, customer, lowercase. Due to the huge success of this collection, we've run out of stock, and we're unable to deliver the gift you were expecting to receive in this package. Sorry about that. Just to let you know, rather than wait for the missing gift, like you have done for the last
4 months.
long time,
3 months.
we wanted to start sending you items we do have available right away.
What would they be then?
Don't worry. Don't worry though. The missing gift will be included in your next shipment. Thanks for understanding. Please give us a call if you have any questions. Now, I sat there and I thought, this is a little bit familiar. So I went into my previous box where I got this, and it is a Control-C and V jobby.
They probably printed 100,000 of them off, and they've got them in a pile somewhere.
Yeah,
stick them in a box.
Look, at the end of the day, right, Fanhome, I'm not too fussed about the free gifts. If there's a delay, there is a delay. I am over the moon that this collection is doing well, both for collectors and for yourself. Bully to you. Do me a favour, though. Please save the planet. And as soon as they just come in, as soon as they're all in, as soon as you've got all the stock and you don't have to worry, just send me a box. You don't have to keep sending me these letters with rough approximations and it's going to be the next time. Trust me. Just wait. Just say to me, rather than drip feed you the gift, as soon as they're all in, we're going to send you a special package and there you go. It's all done. You don't have to send multiple boxes. You don't have to worry about it. It's done. A, you save trees, and B, you save the amount of cardboard boxes that I then reuse to sell stuff on eBay. I mean, it's a detriment to me because
you're going to run out of boxes.
The boxes are amazing, but it makes more common sense. I'm very patient, as you've seen with the Shrike. I can wait. Just get them all in and then just sell them all in one box.
Yep. Okay, so let's rate our delivery experience this month, because that is the new thing that we're doing. I am rating it a whopping half a com badge out of 5.
Half a com badge.
A whole
Which
half.
half?
Don't know
Which
yet.
half?
Probably the left half. A
The
whole left
half.
half, only because the model arrived in one piece.
Out of 5.
Out of 5, yeah.
I'm going to give it a 3, purely because of the delay, which again, not all too fussed
I
about. But
thought
it
you were
was
going to go for a 2 because you still have yet to receive your free gifts and that as well.
Again, I
know.
look, free gifts are free gifts. As long as I receive what I pay for, which I did, it's 3 out of 5 com badges, purely because the delivery was amazing this time round. Yodel stepped up. Unlike Mike number 1, where they just throw it down, Yodel stepped up. They listened to the instructions carefully, did a detailed photo of where it was, and that's brilliant. Like I said, the only reason it's 3 was because of the 5-6 week delay that we received. Which, if I wasn't busy being the jet set dynamo that I am, traversing various continents, making shady trade deals as I normally do, I would be a bit miffed, because it's 6 weeks. You took my money at the beginning of April. It is now the middle of May. Where the F is my Shrike? But not too bothered, so 3 out of 5.
So then, just before we delve into the magazine, I logged into Fanhome because obviously I wanted to check the date the payments were taken out. I've noticed something.
Oh, no.
So not only do we have the picture of the Titan, which is lovely, and I can see that those lovely folks across the pond have already started to receive theirs.
Yes.
Mine says estimated delivery 26th of the 5th to the 2nd of the 6th. Why is it so late, Fanhome? Why have you taken the payment like last week? And it's going to take 4 weeks.
Bear in mind, their estimated deliveries are always widely out of time.
Mine is normally spot on, because the last one said the delivery date. Okay, ignore the last one because that was well out wrong. The one before that, so the Elios said it was going to be delivered between the 10th and the 14th, and it arrived on the 13th.
So, let me have a look. Okay. So there's a lovely picture of the USS Titan. The Titan. What was the dates that you had?
26th of the 5th to the 2nd of the 6th.
20. Yeah, exactly the same.
Interesting.
Exactly the same. But I'm not holding much hope.
No, I'm not either. I just hope mine doesn't get stuck at Farnborough again for another 6 weeks.
I'm just having a look there. Yes, USS Titan. I honestly, it's the G after this, isn't it? Yeah. Right.
Yes.
But yeah, it's the same dates. But I'm gonna aim for the middle of June for this one.
No, I reckon if it gets shipped this week, if it gets shipped this week, it should be here next week, if not early the following week, which would be around the 26th.
I will hold you to that.
So, anywho, magazine.
I mean, this is a quick one because it's only me, because you don't have one.
I do.
It's a loner.
I have one, but it looks rather liquidy damaged.
Liquidy?
It looks like it got either very cold and condensate-y. It's all wrinkly.
Was it moist with excitement, and that's why it's a little bit wrinkled? Has it got
pruned? I was flicking through the magazine as I normally do to peruse. And the same quirkiness that we found last time, like the fact it now just says printed in Italy. And I've also noticed we've gone back to the glossy. So I think they definitely changed something. But whoever's printing these in Italy, I don't think it is. If it is Rotomail, guys, you need toner, because I have got more stripes than a zebra in this magazine.
Stripes or shrikes?
Well, stripes. I tell you, do you know what it looks like? You know when you get a really shit VHS?
Yeah.
It's exactly what this looks like. I don't know if my webcam's going to be able to pick it up.
So, ironically...
Yeah, it's awful.
Ironically,
And also the pages don't line up again.
page 4 and 5
Mm-hmm.
and 6 and 7. They're the only 4 pages I have major streakage.
Yeah.
The other pages are absolutely
fine. It's
perfect.
something to do with the blacks.
Yeah.
But yes, I have issues where the pages don't line up.
No, I don't have that issue for mine, luckily. I'm the king of non-alignment. I'm the king of alignment. You're the king of non-alignment.
So, well, yeah, because if I go to that page...
Oh, good heavens.
Yes. It's like someone went down with a Sharpie. I tell you what, I actually thought this magazine was very interesting.
Do you know what? I agree.
I did not know that the Shrike went through so many pairs of hands.
I did not know. So I did not know that it was at least 10 artists that had a fair crack at the whip of this.
Yeah, because it looks like that John Eves had first dibs.
Yeah.
But couldn't quite come up with something.
Igor Nesvik.
Harold Belka, who was the... Yeah. Oh, no. Sorry. It went to Harold Belka first.
Yeah.
Who did loads of alternatives, put lots of effort into vanity, and it looked very, I want to say, floral-esque.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of went to Derek Zabrocki, who kind of designed something that looks very reminiscent of the Shrike now. Then Igor Gnezvik, and I apologize in advance for pronouncing these names terribly. That looks rather interesting. Now, from what I can understand, Dave Blass has this like multi-layered kniff. And that is what he wanted the design to look like. So he showed all these different artists this multi-layered kniff. Gil Hibben knife, there you go, that's what it is. And then that's kind of what he wanted as a foundation.
Now, really controversially for some, I really like that design.
Which one? The Igor Nesvik?
Igor Nesvik's design. I really, really like that design. It's so reminiscent. Now, most people are probably going to be like, this is truly showing your age and very niche. It is reminiscent of a ship that you would see in a game called Colony Wars Red Sun on the PlayStation 1. It is just so foreign yet familiar.
Yeah, so I can see bits from Stargate. I can see bits from Halo. I can see bits from Star Trek. I can see bits from Star Wars. It is a real kind of mishmash. It's really cool.
Well, speaking of callbacks to other shows, when you look at Jim Martin's design underneath,
on the other side,
I'm going Babylon 5 called It Wants Its Fighter Back.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's very Babylon 5.
Very.
So then there was that. Then there was another design by Belka.
Yes.
And then
I like that one.
I like that one as well. It kind of looks like a star. Kind of anyway. And then Michael Myers, not to be or Mayers.
Michael Myers?
No, Mayers, sorry, I misread that. Michael Myers.
Did he use a Gil Heaven?
Yeah. I tell you, I'm looking at this design and it kind of looks very Romulan.
Oh, 100%.
Very Romulan.
It's. I tell you what, it reminded me of the Romulan starship in Star Trek Online, where it's got the raised wings instead of the low wings. Yeah.
Doug Drexler decided to copy Batman for some reason, with that design underneath.
So I wanted to point out. I wanted to raise this with you. So A, yes, Batwing. B, it's Andromeda without the spoiler.
Oh,
in a certain way. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Just with a couple of weird Starfleet nacelles thrown in for good measure.
Yeah, so it's Andromeda with Starfleet nacelles and Batwing edges.
Yeah. I don't hate it. And then Rob Johnson came in with the Spider-Man logo.
No. Rob Johnson came in with 13 Spider-Man logos. And just pasted until someone took the keyboard away.
I don't quite know. Or you know what? You know what else it reminds me of? The replicators from SG-1.
Oh,
it's very Replicator, isn't it?
You are right, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
James Chung, who's, I have to say, is a fantastic concept designer, came up with these really cool, really angular designs. And I was looking at this and went, that looks very Wraith from Atlantis.
It's very Wraith. It's almost a
Especially with
mix
the glow in
of.
the middle.
It's a mix of. I would say it's a mix of Andromeda Wraith with Star Destroyer vibes.
Yeah.
Because you've got the raised platform, well, raised points.
Yeah.
It's very unnatural, but I mean, looking at it, it's like it's good from one angle, but then the other angles, you're like
A bit shit. But I also see like fighter jet vibes as well. Like if you look at the very left part of that, it almost looks like an F-16 or something.
Very R-Type Delta. Again, the
Yes.
classic video games are coming
Yeah.
through.
And then Matt Cunningham came up with this beautiful, like, I want to say starfish, because it looks like it's got a hole in the middle of it, like a starfish's arsehole mouth thing. Well, they do.
It's Red Dwarf's Passad Collector.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll give you that one. And then when we flick over again, we then go back to John Eves, who
these are amazing.
And this is where it starts to get really interesting, because he took, knowing that it was a changeling, took Jem'Hadar that he designed for DS9. It even says it on there. Although some concepts were reminiscent of his designs for Jem'Hadar, Eve says that he only discovered that Vadik was a changeling when he saw the final episode. But there's obviously something subconsciously there, because that top right is a Jem'Hadar battleship.
Oh God,
with some green engines.
It's essentially, it's got two extra nacelles that are just raised in a sort of X-wing format.
Yeah, now the left one, I recognise that shape, and I don't know what from. I don't think it's Star Trek.
Okay, so I put it to you, right? So you're looking at top left.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do both left, right? So the first one, top left.
Yeah.
Now, are you looking at it like the front of the ship is at the left?
Yes, because the engines are from the right.
Reverse it.
Yeah.
Look at it as the front is the right.
Yeah.
That is a mix of the mammalian Xindi ship from Enterprise and the insectoid ship.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and the bottom left, that is an Undine vessel from Voyager 8472.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then the bottom right, for me, the bottom right is the reptilian vessel, the Xindi reptilian vessel.
Yeah, but I'm also looking at the bottom left, and I also see species 8472 in that as well.
Yeah, that's the Undine.
Oh yes, sorry, yes, yeah, sorry. I never get them from Undine. I always have to go with them too.
But it is again though. Those three, apart from the Jem'Hadar, they are all Xindi-esque. So you've got insectoid mammalian top left, bottom left is the aquatics, one of the aquatic vessels, and then bottom right is the reptilian vessel.
But also the bottom right almost looks like a season 1 Romulan phaser with wings.
It looks like so if you get the magazine and you do that, right? It's the Firefly logo from The Last of Us.
But it also looks like a Romulan phaser from season, because it had that kind of like two with a handle in the middle, didn't it?
Yeah, the disruptor pistol. Yeah.
And then the bottom one, we've got an octopus. Which looks insane. This, 8 tentacles with a kind of, I don't know, deflector in the middle with 8 nacelles coming out the back of it. It looks, and could you imagine if that's what it was? I would have hated being Fanhome trying to create a model of that.
It's the Narada octopus.
I was just about to say it looks very reminiscent of the Narada from Star Trek 09.
Do it this way. Do it Playboy version. And look at it that way. It's like an octopos.
No, you know what it reminds me of? You know those head massages that you can buy from Mankind? It looks like one of them.
I love them. Can you imagine if we did a review? If this was the actual model, we could just sit here and just do this.
Because I wouldn't be able to move.
So this is if an octopus married the Narada and then gave birth to a Reaper from Mass Effect. Right.
I tell you what, I want to read a short excerpt of this because I loved it. It goes, Igor Nesvit created a design for a massive ship that had layers of flat-bladed sections. Rob Johnson suggested huge flat ships, some which didn't even have sort of a main body. James Chung produced designs for an incredibly angular ship that had dozens of sharp edges. Matt Cunningham came up with versions that had wings of spider-like arms. Doug Drexler designed with curved pincer-like arms. Jim Martin offered up designs that looked like a fighter and a radically different approach that looked like a hammerhead. But, and this is an annoyance at the people that edited this, you have to go from this page all the way over to here to forget what the but was. And the but is nothing was hitting. I scrambled at this point, Blas says. We're getting really down to the wire. So it was really a kind of a rush, a really mad rush. But John Eaves then came up with a approved design, and it was approved by everybody, which is, I would say, 90-ish, 95% of what we saw on the model now.
I would say it's the original is sleeker, longer.
Yeah, it's not
colours.
quite so fat. It's a little bit sleeker, and also there's like an additional bridge section that sits in the middle of these pincers.
Do you want to mention the engines as well?
What, being green?
Because we discussed before we came on air how much we preferred the green engines. However,
would have given it some.
It would have, but
I agree with why.
Yeah, the Wright and Nebula, the color would have just been completely lost.
So I'm guessing, because it doesn't really say in here. Oh no, it does. I misread it. Sorry. So so then obviously Johnny's came up with that sketch, which then went to Doug. Doug then kind of built the final design, and then Johnny's overpainted Doug's design to work out how the portal weapon would work.
Yeah.
So again, it's another one of those ships where you've got a real collaboration between Doug Drexler and John Eaves, which do you know what? I literally have to say, I think it's a winning combination. I think when those two get together,
listen. If someone said to me, "Here is a ship that John Eaves and Doug Drexler built," I'm like, "How many models can I buy of it and where from?" Because they are. Come on, I mean, guys, come on.
I know.
Okay,
I know.
It's just absolute Starfleet design, Star Trek design perfection every time.
The two of them are a lean, mean ship designing machine.
They need to they should be professor-like scholars when it comes to starship design, and they should be teaching, excuse the pun, the next generation of designers when it comes to it should be. I mean, we have a Star Trek Bible. There's always a show Bible. There should be a design principle Bible, and I know there is. I know it's it has to be this, and Starfleet ships have to be this and this, but it has to be taught. It really does, because their skills. If we lose one or both of them, which is an unfortunate thing, it is inevitable.
It's going to happen at some point.
We are going to lose some serious knowledge, talent, artistic design. It's going to be a damn shame.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say, whilst reading this as well, so it says that the solution was Drexler and Eaves proposed that the portal weapon should be fired from a pod that had been fitted underneath, which is initially what we thought was the deflector, but it's not then. So, because I'm guessing this ship doesn't have a navigational deflector, and that this pod is the portal weapon, or houses the portal weapon. Because then it says the weapon will produce a burst of energy that spread down the wings before it was fired. Final tweaks were made to the color, with the team settling on a combination of coppers and golds before Doug Drexler's model was sent to the VFX team. Looking at the final design, Blas is keen to say that it was a group effort and thinks that it's important to say that everybody worked on it because everybody's ideas informed everybody else's. And I couldn't agree more.
It's the thing is with Star Trek, when it comes to design, like I've just mentioned, there is a set of design principles for ships and stuff. However, there is some liberty taken when it comes to basic fundamentals like deflectors. So what we assume is, this is the deflector. No, that's a weapon. Yeah. Okay, so where's the deflector? Don't worry about it.
Well, in this case, I mean, don't forget this is such an alien ship. I mean, don't forget. I mean, if I remember rightly, it had 200 torpedoes, 20 pulse. Actually, it's listed, isn't it?
It is. It is listed. I will get my perfectly dry magazine, and I will quote: "It carried 40 isolytic burst warheads, which were illegal by the Khitomer Accords, 88 plasma torpedoes, 236 standard photon torpedoes,
18 antimatter missiles, 20 pulse wave torpedoes, and a directed energy weapon that can be fired from all four wings." So the thing is, I mean, if you think of all of that weaponry, a traditional starship, no matter... I mean, I would also say, and that could also include, maybe not the Borg, but definitely the Romulans and the Klingons, would not be able to house that much weaponry.
It is the scimitar on Ket, let's be honest.
And Reid.
Yeah, it is a jacked up...
With a little bit of TARDIS thrown in, because it must be bigger on the inside to fit all of that in it.
Yeah, transporter buffers, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, weapons are just constantly in the buffer.
They're in flicks.
Let's hope they don't go boom when they materialize. But no, it's I have to say, for a ship that... Look, I really like the Shrike. I think it nails everything a enemy vessel needs. It looks great. It looks super alien and very, very different to a Starfleet vessel. I think that's the problem in the past. Romulan vessels, yes, they look great, but they have the same foundations as Federation. They have a deflector. You can see where things are. Same with the Klingons. Same with the Jem'Hadar. You don't get it with the Borg, because the Borg obviously like perfection and like shapes, which I get. But again, when you can kind of, from the inside of a Borg cube, see where things go, and because obviously it's hull layered upon a hull layered upon a hull, and that was what makes, let's face it, a Borg cube menacing, because when it's a fuck off massive cube in space, nothing is more menacing than that. But I think this nails everything a baddie ship should have.
So what I'm hearing, and what everyone else is hearing right now, is that geometry and shapes are evil.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I think this is what you get.
Especially when they transmit, "We are the Borg, resistance is futile." Your biological and technological distinctiveness will be added to...
I mean, it could be worse. "We are the BBC, your licenses due." But
yeah,
this is the perfect alien ship, because this is the culmination...
baddie alien ship, I should say.
Baddie alien ship. This is the culmination of, what if we take the last 35 years of Star Trek enemy vessels from movies and TV shows, and we take good points from each and every one of them, and we culminate it into one mean ship. And you look at it, right? So you could look at this, and you've got the scimitar. You've got
because if you think back to the scimitar, you had those four wings that open up, and it's very scimitar-esque on that, which I love.
You have got the scimitar. You have got Cardassian design with the two prongs at the front instead of the back. That you've got, I would say that is it's a rustic Ferengi Vulcan. Not necessarily evil, but it's like a rustic color. Then you've got, essentially the weapon pod at the bottom, where I would like to see this ship without that weapon pod. I think it would just look so much sleeker. But then you look at, it's sort of the worst antagonists in Star Trek villainry mixed in with, scorpions and
it's got that really organic, almost poisonous kind of vibe to it. And the other thing as well, which I really like, is that, and if you don't look at it from the back, you look at it from the top, or you look at it from the front or the side, you don't actually know. And I'm not going to call them nacelles, because they're not, but you don't actually know where the engines are.
No,
it's only really when you look really close, you can kind of see, which I'm presuming are like ram scoops. They are the facade collectors and ram scoops, and they kind of sit almost very flush with the pylons, and obviously those are, those are definitely engines. And then there's obviously engines in the back of these wings, and then there's obviously an engine at the back of the primary hull.
I would say that Passat ram scoops are purely a design. They are optional when it comes to Starship, because they are just the backup fuel. I would say that this is a quad nacelle setup with heavy impulse engines for maximum maneuverability in combat. And that, I get, when I look at the back of this ship here, I get heavy Lacerena vibes where there's not just two nacelles, two impulse. There's two nacelles and a whole array of engines and thrusters, because these ships, these are retrofitted. These are hot rod ships designed to be ultra fast and maneuverable.
That's the thing the question that kind of is open to this. Where did it come from? Was this a ship built by a shipyard outside of Federation space? Was this a vessel that Vadik designed herself and constructed from various materials? There's all of those kind of unanswered questions that, does that mean that there could possibly be a fleet of these ships out there somewhere? That's definitely a story worth exploring.
It poses a lot of questions. Like, was it a conglomerate of Cardassian, Romulan engineers?
Was it patched together from bits and bobs of this, that, and the other, or was it from a shipyard?
Or was it a black market purchase? Someone took a space frame and then they were like, "We'll add 2 extra impulse and do this and do this." Because obviously, the pod at the bottom, that is the added extra. Retrofit, isn't it? It's a retrofit. So I would suggest that this is what happens when you've got an all black markets are unregulated, but a black market that is just let loose and is given infinite amount of money to make the ultimate space-based weapon.
But no, so I think, look, this is a really interesting one, because the magazine, again, hits the nail on the head of the content. It's exactly what we want to see. We've got loads of things we didn't know about. The really interesting design principles and mythology and the process that happened with this ship specifically. The fact it was a very last minute, down to the wire kind of design that was, had input from 8-9 different people. I think really kind of
I think because Picard 2 and 3 was shot back to back, I think their general focus, and it's understandable because they are hero ships, but their general focus in the design team was the Gazer, the Helios, the Titan, the Enterprise, basically all the Starfleet ships that we had. And I think this was like, we need an enemy ship. But this is, again, what Mike said, a true testament to the designs that we had, where they were up against it and then they pulled out something so iconic and visually grabbing to the audience, where you go, oh, this means business. This is something. And it's a real shame. It's very much like the Stargazer. It's a real shame we didn't get to see more of it. That it only lasted a certain amount of episodes, because this,
But I am glad that it got destroyed by Vadik's frozen body being projectile thrown at it. I love that. that was the perfect way to destroy the ship. But also, when you see it, you can see that it's mechanical. It's the what we thought was a deflector. It's mechanical. It's spinning. It's glowing. And yes, we now know that was the portal weapon that, but there's so much to love about this ship. I know it's not a design that everybody is thrilled about. I think it's great. I love it. And I'm not a massive fan of alien ships. I don't normally collect alien ships other than a few iconics. Like I've got a Borg Cube, for example. I've got 1 or 2 Romulan vessels, and that's about it. I don't really collect alien vessels, but this one,
there's a shelf full.
Yes, I know. You're a completist. You like to do a whole collection, whereas I pick and choose the bits that I like. Normally, even back in the Discovery ones and that, I skipped the Romulan ships, the previous Starships collection. I skipped the Romulan ships. I skipped those, and even back in the Originals collection, I skipped most of those because they're just not. they don't do anything for me. They're not my cup of tea. Whereas this, I don't know. There's just something about this ship which I really, really like.
I think the decision from Fanhome to only reproduce this one alien ship in the initial 20 shocked a few people because it's like, well, we've had Klingon ships, we've had Gorn ships, we've had many other alien ships, but we're just going to do the Shrike. And initially, I wasn't really looking forward to it because I'm not a fan of collecting the alien ships. I have a shelf, but I'm not a fan. If there is only 20 in the run, do 20 of the hero ships. Do the ones that people
but
actually
I would also
want.
say that this is a hero ship.
Why?
Because it played a very integral part in the first 4.5 episodes of Star Trek Picard Season 3.
Okay. I see where you're going with that.
I mean, don't forget, up until the destruction of the Shrike, which was in episode 6, I think it was.
Yes.
6 episodes it was in. 6 out of 10.
Good chunk. Yeah, it's a 60% presence.
Exactly. So I think they did. I think it's a smart decision. I also think that it could almost be used as a test run to see how far they can push manufacturing to do these very, very difficult shapes and prints and that to do.
If they could pull this off,
there's no reason why we have orange fucking impulse engines on the Titan.
If they can pull this off, Narada.
Exactly. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Does this become a almost like a staging ground?
Yeah.
To what could possibly come. So anyway, right, magazine. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. It's going to get other than the fact I didn't get mine, which is not relevant to the magazine section. I'm going to give it a 5. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5.
I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 as well.
I think it did they did a really good job. It ticked all the boxes, other than some print quality issues with it.
Yeah, again,
Come on, Fanhome. You are a magazine.
You're getting there. You are getting there. This is a much weightier magazine than what
it's definitely the paper is better. We got glossy, but it's still not Eagle Moss quality.
You're getting there.
No, you go back to those Eagle Moss magazines. They got proper thick, glossy covers, and it's a way off. It's a way off from what we got from Eagle Moss. But anywho. Yes,
moving on.
Model. Now, stand, great. Clipped together nicely. No wobble. Holds the ship at a decent angle. Can't complain.
Yeah.
Great. Finally, we've got past stand gate. Now, the model itself.
My goodness.
Thought this was really interesting. How they've manufactured this. Really interesting. So, excluding the pod.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Hang on. Yeah, excluding the pod. The entire lower sections, the 2 lower arms, 2 wings, and the bracing, and all of this lower section of the hull is one massive die-cast piece. So, she's a heavy girl.
It's weighty, guys. I think
it's the heaviest model yet.
Yeah, when I got the box, I was like, "My goodness, this is weighty," and I thought there was free gifts in it. But when we got the box and I unpacked it, and I was like, "My goodness, this is a hefty model," and I sort of appreciate when it comes to the stand that it is absolutely perfectly slotted into the base. There is no wobbles. It is angled at a point where the center of gravity is towards the back, so it won't fall out.
At a very similar angle to the
stunning.
Titan as well. So it lines up nicely on a shelf. So I'm really happy with that. And then it's essentially, it looks like it's only 3 pieces. It looks like that you've got an entire lower section, which is all die cast. You've got the pod, and then there's a single plastic upper piece, which is then the 2 top wings, these fangs here, and it goes all the way down to the back to the back of the impulse engine on the primary hull. Yeah. So it's a 3-piece design, which I think that's how they've managed to get a lot of the detail in.
Yeah.
And also the fact it's relatively flat means all the detail on the top is perfectly aligned, give or take a few bits. Now, I do have lots of misaligned windows. Every window is misaligned. And you can tell if you don't know if you can't look at the windows properly, they are
Excuse me,
little
folks.
orange dots.
I'm about to enter pensioner mode.
Off you go.
Oh my goodness.
Every single orange dot where there should be a window is misaligned. And that's on both sets of wings and the primary hull.
So, okay. So, okay. So, for mine, hello there, dear. How do you do?
Hello, darling.
Hello. So for the top wings, the top nacelles, shall we say, misaligned.
Yep.
The bottom, perfectly aligned windows. However, the primary hull, it is a mix of misalignment and alignment. I'm going to be honest, though. I really am going to be honest. Unless you have got this on display underneath bright
you're never going to see them.
LED lights because of the colouring choice. I mean, if I just do that, can you see anything?
No.
Can you see it? Yeah.
No.
You will not notice.
I'm being proper pernickety. Don't worry about that. What I don't understand is you've got the dots where the windows should be are all misaligned, but the metal, the gold grills on the top nacelles are perfectly lined up.
Yep.
So this is what I don't understand. Same again on the bottom as well, the top grill, and also on the primary hull where those orange inlets are perfectly lined up. You know, the other thing as well is the Aztecing on this is absolutely stunning. But what you have to really look at is on the primary hull, the Aztecing follows raised parts of the design.
It is incredible.
And it's spot on. So how can they get that right, but they can't get windows aligned? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make... I don't understand whether it's just a case of, you know...
Is it manually done? Is it...
I was just going to say, is it some poor sod sitting there with a brush just going...
Look, if someone said to me, right, here's 5,000 Shrikes, get all the windows aligned, I'd be like... So I could sort of forgive it if it's that. If it's a machine, which I highly doubt, looking at this.
No, I think it is. I think it's a machine.
Do you think it's a machine?
Or if it's not a machine, it's a jig. Because they're all misaligned exactly the same.
It could be a jig, you're right.
So I reckon it's like a bunch of brush tips on a jig, and then it sits in and someone just goes donk.
Yeah, donk. And moves on, and they haven't seated
and they're just not seated it properly. But the other thing as well is you look at the engines. At first, when I first saw this, I thought the engines on the primary hull and on the pylons were plastic inserts.
Nope,
because they are glossy. They are so perfectly done.
Yep.
Like they're down to the millimeter. They look like they're plastic inserts.
Yeah.
They're not, they're painted. And the same again for the wings. And what I don't understand is with these wings as well, you have this hook and they've managed to paint right down into that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to know how the hell they've done that. And again,
it would be interesting.
If they can do that and they line that up and they have lined that up perfectly. Why are we then having issues with things like windows and that not being like? It just doesn't make sense.
I would love to speak to someone from Fanhome about their assembly process and
I'd love to go to like a factory tour or something. Awesome.
Just to see the way that they build, assemble, and paint these such complex models. I mean, look, guys. I mean, come on. The Titan, the Enterprise. It's a saucer, a cylindrical tube, and two nacelles. Okay, that's fine. This is infinitely complex compared to that, with highly detailed Aztecing and little nodules.
I had to turn my flashlight on to be sure. But you have so if you're looking at the top, down the wings, you've got almost like arrowhead-esque shapes, which are one color. They're lighter. So this room's quite dark, so I couldn't quite see it.
Okay.
So if you look on the top down, down the wings, are you looking at it front on or back on?
What do you mean front on or back
You're
on?
looking at this way. Are you looking at it this way, or are you looking at it that way?
I'm looking at front on.
Okay, so there are it looks like arrowheads pointing towards you.
Correct.
They are a slightly different color to the rest of the ship,
Yeah.
and then there is a very much lighter, a slightly lighter Aztecing over the top of that.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the primary hull, and you also get to the kind of the pylon area, that then
Yeah.
has raised parts which are darker with the same colored Aztecing on top of those.
Yeah, I see that.
What looks like, I mean, it almost reminds me of. Which I've got down here somewhere.
Also, as well, guys, the actual paint, the base paint
Yeah.
of the hull and the nacelles, when you shine the light on it,
Where's my brush?
has a
Iridescence
darling.
to it.
Yeah, it's iridescent. But there's a glitter.
Yeah. So the thing, what I was going to say was, do you know what it reminds me of?
Hmm?
It reminds me of Disco. When you with the original Eagle Moss Discovery, although it's a slightly different color, it's very same in the way that you've got three or four different shades of the same color family with a lighter Aztecing over the top, and then you've got these raised parts. The only thing that's different is which I have to say, I love that about Eagle Moss. They took a piece of red transparent plastic and they just painted over the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Yeah, love that. But yes, it reminds me very much of that. The fact that you've got these raised parts with paint that are printed over the top. But yeah, it's a, as I said, for a very complex model, the paint job is great.
Yeah.
It's just let down again by just a couple of really tiny little things.
Such as?
Sorry, I have just had a message from a friend of mine who's just copied a tweet from the Hageman brothers.
Okay.
Just says, whilst the future removal of Star Trek Prodigy on Netflix is discouraging,
Yes.
disconcerting, sorry, it has little to do with lack of viewership or anything nefarious. The license for season 1 is up on June 24th, and the license for season 2 on December 31st. We hold out hope that someone will pick it up. The next generation of fans deserve it. Which I wholeheartedly agree.
But what fans want to know is where it's going to go.
Well, nowhere at the moment.
Nowhere. Physical media, guys.
Well, alternative media, guys.
Alternative.
Let's just say I made sure I had I have every episode of Star Trek ever, just in case.
I don't know what you mean.
No, I just do not condone, and I would just like to point out, I do not condone pirating in any way, shape, or form, even though I may have pirated some stuff. I still watch it primarily on Paramount Plus. Just saying. It's there.
What's Paramount Plus? Anyway, moving on.
Moving on swiftly. But yes, it's just, I just think, look, for a ship that looked solid gold, it's got half a dozen different colors on it. The paint job is, I would say, 90% there, 95% of the way there. It's just the windows that let it down. I mean, even on the bottom, again, you got the same Aztecing, you got the same dark prints, you got even like little raised parts with slightly different colors to them, and yeah, again, you've got that kind of almost metallic iridescentness to the paint. I think it's a great model. I think it's a really good model.
It is really something very much like the Ilios last month. This has really surprised me in terms of the quality of the model. Yes, there's a few little hiccups here and there, but the overall quality, weight, size, and paint is just amazing.
So, Goodwill. Yes. I'm going to give it a 4.5 com badges out of 5.
Oh, you saucy knick-knack. I am also going to give it... It would be... like, look, I collect hero ships. I do have alien ships. And everyone knows I'm not that much of a fan of the alien ships. That's fine. This, however, would have been 5 com badges. This would have been a perfect 5 for size, for weight, for colour, everything.
But
if only they had aligned those tiny little bits, and it would have been. Now, you all know I have got this is the running gag on the dry dock. I have had many ships that have had perfectly aligned windows because they go, oh, this is Mike number 2 ship. Make sure it's seated on the jig. And then they see Mike's and then they just slap it and throw it as it's about to be thrown into his front door.
Yes,
So
because I don't deserve perfectly aligned windows.
they know you and they're like, no.
Bastards. Damn it.
If you crack open a model, there's an
It's got
insulting
"fuck
message
you"
for
written
you.
inside of it. Yeah.
I was a fan of Section 31. Oh, okay.
I'm a fan of Section 31. I must have seen it about 7 or 8 times now. I love that film. Just not as a Star Trek.
Anyway,
you have to think. Hang on. Section 31 is a great film, but it's a shit Star Trek film. Take it outside of Star Trek universe, it's actually okay. It's actually a half decent film. Anywho, that's Mike's hot take for the day. So next month we have got the Titan.
Yes, we have got the Lunar class USS Titan,
which I'm on the fence about. It's a ship we've seen. We've had 2 versions of already. Do we need a third?
I was shocked about this when they announced that they were going to do the Titan or the Titan for normal, well-adjusted people. Primarily because, one, it's
normal and well-adjusted. What's that?
No, I know. It's issue 7 of the run. And like Mike said, we've already had 2 versions. We've had the regular Eagle Moss size and then the XL lower deck size with a more blue paint scheme on it, as seen in lower decks. However, we speculated when we heard that the Lunar class was going to be made that they had just got the molds from Eagle Moss, and what they were going to do, they were going to use the molds and maybe do what they've done. Yeah, recolor it, add a load more detail, and just make it a genuinely more live action and pleasant model. However, what we have found, to our surprise, is the Americans have received their ships early.
Already, as they somehow do.
It must have arrived before. But
hang on, sorry, just to interject on that. Do you know what I don't understand about that? They all get shipped from Italy. D'Agostini's head office is in Italy, and that's where their distribution is. So how the hell is it the Americans get it first? We're closer.
My theory is with this particular model, they ship them over before any possible announcement of tariffs.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah, that's quite possible.
To avoid, because obviously in the age that we are living at the time that this is recorded, everything is slightly more expensive for our American cousins. So I think D'Agostini and many other people, they caught wind, and we saw this happen. There was a surge in orders, in shipments towards the United States. So what they did, they shipped them from Italy, got them into their warehouses, and then obviously when it came to do it, they posted them out to avoid the tariffs, which obviously they can't avoid going forward. But
no, it'd be interesting to see how they combat that, because a lot of other people have said they're not shipping to the US now.
Master replicas are placing things on hold.
Fan sets are ordered loads of stock, but once it's sold out until the tariff situation resolves itself, apparently. So it's going to be an interesting one to see how, because I haven't seen any kind of announcement from Fanhome about anything like that.
I haven't either, and I think they're holding off until the Titan and their other things have shipped this month, and then they'll announce. Maybe they're just keeping quiet and waiting to see what happens until they get to that point. But I haven't seen anything yet. But getting back to the actual model of the Titan, the Lunar class Titan, what shocked us, and what I sent to Mike last night was some of our friends in the Eagle Moss Fanhome collectors groups on social media who've received it early have compared the model to the XL Titan from Lower Decks that Eagle Moss produced. And to our shock, it is a different mold and a different size compared to the XL Lunar class.
Yeah, it
Which
looks
I'm
slightly
shocked
shorter,
at.
doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm shocked at. But what I am more shocked at is from looking at the underside, the nacelles are completely brand
I'm
new
just
and
trying to
highly detailed.
find. I do you know what? I can't actually find it.
The
Where am I?
picture.
Yeah, I'm in the Facebook group now, and I can't find. Oh, there's the problem is there's too many damn Facebook groups.
There's
Bear with me.
the underside
Gross.
when you look at the nacelles, they are way more highly detailed. So between the facade
There it
ramp
is.
scoops and the nacelles, if you look at the underside,
Yeah.
it's way more detailed. So it's going to be very interesting to review that, considering they've actually used a brand new mold for it, and obviously they've done a live action paint scheme for it. But
Yeah, because the paint scheme is based off of. Actually, I'm going to have to check that because I don't think.
I think the paint scheme is based off season 2 and 3 of Picard, and they've just slapped Titan's name on it because
I
we
was
do
just
have
trying
the
to say
USS
that.
Luna and stuff. Yeah.
Because the Titan, so that paint scheme with the yellow stuff on it is actually from the USS Taranganu.
Yeah. Which we thought we were going to get.
Which we thought we were going to get. So yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be interesting to actually see. I might have to speak to Sean and see if he can elaborate, because obviously he designed it.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if the Titan did initially have, well, his original sketches for the Titan had that on there. Because I don't remember ever seeing those yellow bits on anything else. Because I know on the Terran version it's red, but I've never seen yellow like that on a Federation ship before, other than on the USS Taranganu.
Now, like I said, I wasn't looking forward to this, and I was like, why is it so early? However, this opens up the possibility of the Shangri-La class USS Titan being produced in the future. Now, that is a model I would pay through the nose to get if they do that.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's. I'm just looking at the photos now. Yeah, it definitely. I'll make sure I save these and I'll put them in the video. But yes, it's definitely. I would say it's probably about 1 or 2 centimeters shorter.
Yeah, it's not. There's not a vast difference, but you can tell it's a brand new mold that they've used instead of reclaiming the Eagle.
The paint scheme for it is brilliant.
Yeah,
and actually, I'm glad that the only annoyance I have just seen, they've just used a solid piece of blue plastic for the deflector again.
But transparent parts for the nacelles instead of painted.
But that goes without saying, dear boy.
I know, but we haven't had a Lunar class with that on.
It looks like there's some really shit photos of the back end, but it looks like the impulse engines are red plastic.
Very much like the lower decks version and the original petitioned version.
Yeah.
Jolly good.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to look. Be an interesting one. It's a ship I wasn't particularly looking forward to. I'm happy to be surprised.
Yes.
Yeah. Someone has just put on the comment. Oh, nice translucent impulse engines.
Good.
If that's the case, if they can do it for that, why couldn't they do it for the other Titan?
Angry.
Damn you, Fanhome. Damn you. Anywho, but yeah, so look, we got that one coming up soon, and then after that, it's
the G.
Is it the G? No, the G is not. It's for every 4 issues. The G will be at issue 8.
Yeah, so that's issue 8. This is issue 7 coming up.
Oh shit! Yes, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's the Excelsior 2, I think.
Correctly. I'm looking forward to that.
Again, a lot of people are doing some deep dives on the comparing like schematics and like pictures and stuff.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
I think it would be interesting if we get to the halfway point of the collection and maybe they announce an extension.
Yeah, get to issue 10 and then they go, maybe.
Good news! We're doing another 10.
Or they're going to add in a few, or they're just going to say we're going to do 2 or 3 limited runs of a specific.
Shangri-La, please.
Yeah, maybe interesting. I have just noticed that they are all, for every single one, is now individually for sale. You don't have to subscribe if you don't want to. Everyone is currently in stock. And I'm guessing that's because they've got a ton of stock, because they're now doing the second run.
Listen, Fanhome, go to Bill Krause, get a Shangri-La, get a TOS Stargazer,
Yep.
get them in the collection. If you're going to do the Ready Room models, you need to do those two.
And also, while you're at it, let's do some gold-plated ones.
They sold.
That are 2 foot high, that you can hang on the wall. Wall art, like actual wall art. Let's actually have ones that hang on the wall that are completely hollow, gold plastic. Yes, please.
You know, you can just buy them and never mind. Anyway.
No, but then they won't be tall enough. They need to be like, 80 centimeters tall.
Just get the 3D printed models and do it.
Yeah, it's not the same. And I don't have a 3D printer yet. Anyway. Remember, guys, thank you for listening and watching. We obviously really appreciate it. Fanhome, get your shit together, please. Yodel, definitely get your shit together, please, because we would like our models on time next month. But for everyone else watching and listening at home, remember you can check out more with us at our YouTube channel, at our website, clonestarpodcast.com, as well as our Patreon, where all of our episodes are available early, and we're currently working on some really awesome Patreon exclusive content, which so there we are. So until next time, live long and prosper.